Hey Star, are you ready?
I'm a lady.
And welcome to iDOL Days, the show about idol anime. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Star.
Hey Star, what were you up to in 2001?
Being like in 4th grade?
Uh-huh.
What about you?
I was trying to achieve my dreams of becoming an idol. That's a lie.
I was like, Sarah, you were also in 4th grade, you silly bean. Pinches your cheek.
So, the reason why I ask is we are talking about Chance Pop Session today, which is an anime from 2001.
The before times. Chances are potentially before some of our listeners were born.
What? We are the old lady idols now.
Oh no, we're the Eternal Girls.
Eternal girls indeed. How about this financial decision, Star?
Don't worry, Sarah, we will not be making the same financial disaster decisions that these boys made because I'm on this team. Straightens glasses, checks your financials, confers with my accountants.
Okay, I'm gonna just go hide all those posters I made that say iDOL Days.
Sarah, no! I love how that we have taken an opportunity to rag on Eternal Boys in like every single episode since we recorded that one. I feel like Eternal Boys is part of our lore now.
It is, and I did enjoy Eternal Boys, so I just have fun with it. It's great.
It's so easy.
Financial decisions, it really gets to Star.
Bad financial decisions. Listen, I literally just had to pay my accountant for their work this most recent year. And I have a lot of important thoughts about financials, but that doesn't matter. We're here to talk about, I almost said Eternal Girls.
Eternal Girls, which is us.
Chance Pop Session, a show that came out in the early 2000s, and you can tell.
Yes. So it was, when Star and I went into this, we had no idea what it was about. We just knew there were a bunch of idol girls. We knew they all kind of looked the same. That was actually called out in our Discord, and they looked the same for apparently a reason, which we will talk about soon. Mysterious.
But yeah, I remember when I looked at like the cover art for this anime, I'm like, oh lord, they all have the same hair color. This is gonna not be fun.
And also the art style is very early 2000s. And best of all, the music and the music videos are early 2000s, including the 3D special effects.
Oh my god, literally my first note in episode 1 is holy early 2000s CG Batman.
We could start with just the OP. You get this like 3D seagull. This 3D water.
Like bad wave animation, like the statue coming up out of the ocean. Oh my god.
Top tier.
The 4:3 aspect ratio. And Sarah, did you see the subtitles? They were like the old school yellow subtitles of my childhood. Oh, the nostalgia kicks in immediately.
So Star and I both watched in Japanese. That's what was available on Crunchyroll. Apparently there's also an English dub somewhere
that's not on
there.
Crunchyroll, despite the fact that the credits in the Crunchyroll version mention the English voice actresses first. So it's like they had the Japanese audio. They did not have the rights to the English audio, but they used the original localization. I don't know. It was just like, I wish I could have watched this. Spicy take alert. I wish I could have watched this in English so I could have watched it while doing other things.
Pew, 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 pew. I wish I could watch it in English because I want to hear the 2001 dub voices.
Oh gosh, that's also true. How bad do you think it is?
I bet it's because it's like such a weird niche show. I bet they're not that bad, but I want to know if they dub the music because they used to do that.
They did, didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes they still do, but it's not
true.
super common.
I just hope they did. I want to find it somehow.
Okay, so here's the thing, is that I did actually look it up on YouTube. And some people have uploaded don't get your hopes up. Some people have uploaded Chance Pop Session English dub. They activated the whole like chipmunk bullshit to get past YouTube's content grabber system. So it sounds like shit, and I didn't watch it.
Oh, and so we don't have a good idea of the quality of, but it exists somewhere.
Somewhere out there on a weird DVD, probably. I almost said Blu-ray, but this was before Blu-rays exist.
Maybe on the VHS even. Who knows? Was at the cusp.
Right on the edge there. But yeah, so this is a show. It's so weird to talk about the show. Sarah, I said before we started, maybe I didn't say this. Maybe I said this to your wife instead. This is, I think, the show, the most mixed I have ever been on a show that we've watched. Because it's like, there's a lot of places where I think this show needs some improvement.
Sure.
I think largely the pacing is my biggest problem with it. This is one of the slowest shows I've watched in recent memory. This show could have been 6 episodes easily.
I would argue it would be great as a movie.
Or even that. Yeah, no, it's like, okay, because like some of the stuff I get why they wanted to take their time with it. Like easy mode, this could have been 6 episodes. A little bit more squish and this could have been like an OVA, like 3 or 4 episodes. I did like that they took the time and like showed the whole flashback with the mom, and we'll get into that. But that was also still pretty slow paced. But yeah, honestly, yeah, could have been a movie. And it was a 13 episode anime.
Yep. By Studio Madhouse, which is interesting because they worked on a lot of things since, of course, but back then they had also worked on some of the Satoshi Kon movies, including, I think they did work on Paprika, so they had some iDOL experience around the same time.
Paprika didn't have idols.
Or not Paprika, sorry, Perfect Blue.
Sarah, that was the 2nd episode ever of our podcast.
I
think the 3rd. It was the 2nd thing we covered.
I'm a fake Idol Days fan.
Fake Idol Days fan. If you don't listen to the Perfect Blue episode, that was our 3rd episode ever. Now I just want to rewatch that movie. Anyway, but yeah, so it's basically it seems like such a basic premise, and then they they don't abandon the premise. It's one of those shows where we thought it was going to be more idol than it actually ended up being.
Sure. I mean, it's still pretty idol. It's also
still pretty
very
idol,
drama.
But it's like, yeah, it's like, I looked on the wiki and it said this was a romantic comedy, and I said, no, it wasn't.
It's neither of those things, really.
Not. It's really neither of those things. There's like what little romance there is.
It's not good. It's not no happy endings for anyone.
Not in a romantic sense.
In a romantic way. Rather, if you are not a main character, if you are a main character's love interest, then you're not going to have a happy ending.
You're screwed, sir. But yeah, like I would argue the anime it's overall had a happy ending. But yeah,
Sure.
It's like it was like this very kind of like dramatic family story. And also they were idols, and being idols is kind of the thing that brings them together. But it felt more like the idols was like the mashed potato side dish.
Yes.
And like the family drama was the steak, right? If my weird food metaphor works.
We've had the mashed potatoes and steak metaphor before. We'll just continue.
Have we? I don't remember this, but I'll take your word for it. Oh no. My Americanism is coming out. Uh-oh.
So why don't we really quickly go over the characters, just so everyone knows who we are talking about. So there are 3 main characters. They are all women with brown hair, but have slightly different styles of said brown hair.
Yeah, you look at the poster of this anime, it's like, oh lord, this is gonna be hard to, they all kind of look a little bit the same.
Have brown hair, brown eyes.
Idol-ru.
Yep. Idol-ru. So I forget what order you meet them in. I think the first one you meet is Akari, if I remember right.
Yeah. I want a church girl to go to church and make her an idol.
Yes, she loves Jesus. like actually, she is a someone who grew up in the church. Literally, she was an orphan who grew up in the church.
Was adopted by a priest.
Yes, was adopted by a priest. She has like kind of wavy brown hair, brown eyes. She's kind of like the big sister character, you know, the very gentle one, takes care of people.
Yeah, okay, so I think the way that we might describe them is long hair, ponytail, and short hair.
Sure.
Is like kind of the three main girlies. So Akari is our long hair girly.
Yes, aka Jesus girl.
Yeah, she feels like the one that the story focuses on the most.
Yes, probably.
Like, all three of the girls get a lot of focus, but I feel like Akari probably gets the most of the three. Our second girl is, I'm just going to talk about my girly. You might judge me a little bit for this. I love Nozomi a lot.
Oh, hell yeah. I didn't know which one was going to be your girly.
I honestly, I like all of them for different reasons, but my main thing with Nozomi, she's kind of annoying at first. I'm going to be completely honest. I love her design so much.
Yeah,
I love her hair. She's got like the ponytail and she's got like kind of the curly bangs. She's so cute. And she's got kind of like the droopy eyes. Like the corners of her eyes kind of like are angled downward. And it's just, she kind of just looks like a little pathetic all the time. And I'm just like, oh, you're so cute. I just want to pinch your cheeks.
And she's notable. She's definitely like the young stereotype. She's very youthful, naive.
Yeah. She doesn't really think things through a lot. But she's the rich girl. But she doesn't like act like a rich girl. She's not like an Iori Idolmaster type. She's not like a Hime-sama type. She's just like, yeah, my family has a lot of money. I've got a butler. He follows me around. He's
named
nice.
Jeeves.
Named Jeeves. Well, that's not his name. That's just what she calls him.
Oh, incredible.
He has like an actual human name, but she calls him Jeeves.
Like an actual human name, as if Jeeves is not.
Well, have you ever met a man named Jeeves?
That's a fair point.
That's not a human name. No human has ever been named that. All the Jeeves fans are going to come out of the woodwork. And they're going to be
Jeeves.
like, excuse you. It's a very noble name. It's very distinguished. But no, so I kind of hate her butler, but I love Nozomi. She's baby. And yeah, her whole thing is like, she wants to go into music specifically to meet her favorite pop star. And I'm like, oh, girly, I don't know about that one, but you have fun, I guess.
And so those three girls are quote unquote main girls.
We did not talk about the third one yet.
Oh, shoot.
You forgot Yuki.
Wow. Well, okay. Our third girl is Yuki, who I don't know what.
My goodness.
Their girl's Yuki. She is brown hair with brown eyes. But her hair is straight and short.
It's like a bob.
She's kind of the spunky character. She is also an orphan, but she just kind of grew up in like her town's like sales district. Basically, she goes around the town. Everyone knows her. She's friends with everyone, and she's always taking up like these part-time jobs, but she doesn't let it get her down.
Yeah, her thing is like she does not make a lot of money, but she makes it work.
Yes, exactly.
And so she's very like self-driven because of that.
So those are our three main girls.
Those are the three girls.
And then there are some other characters that you also meet along the way that become important. Do we want to talk about them now or as they come up?
I think we can talk about like just the main two for right now because there are 1.5. I don't know how important Reika actually is overall.
She's not really.
But the manager, I feel like we should at least talk about.
Yes. So she looks like Cher. Every time I see her, I'm like, hey, it's Cher.
She was such a weird character because she kind of looks like if you took an anime girl and you just like squished her.
No, just imagine if Cher was an anime woman, and that is her. She looks like Cher.
She's got like this long curly brown hair that they stylized by her hair just kind of looking like a sad cloud. And she's always, her eyes are like very squinty, like all the time. She's like very narrow, like she's judging you always. And she's just got like this bright lipstick on for most of the show. She's like very business. Her name is, I wrote it down, Kisaragi.
Yes.
Which I always remember her as, that's Chihaya's last name. is her last name too.
Oh, I really just called her Cher the whole time in my notes.
I mean, honestly, we could. I'm gonna remember Cher a lot easier than I'm gonna remember Kisaragi.
Here, I'll send you a picture of Cher for inspiration for you to look at. They look the same.
Do. Okay. Oh my God, you're right. I think I might be getting her confused with someone else, but when I think Cher, I think of like short blonde hair for some reason.
No, Cher's known for her long black wavy hair.
I guess she was blonde in Mamma Mia apparently.
Oh, maybe it's her Mamma Mia version. Iconic role, really.
This is the one this is what I think of when I think Cher.
That's Mamma Mia Cher.
Yes, it is. So I would not have made the association, but I'm glad one of us did because it's very funny.
No. She looks like Cher. And which is great because she is also a former singer. You find that out at some point.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty early on.
And she owns the company, I think,
if she doesn't own it, she's a very important person in it.
Yes.
She's the boss.
And the company she owns is also the label for the pop singer Reika.
Mm-hmm. And Reika's personality is that she's there for drama, and she's a pop star, and she's good at being a pop star.
Yeah, so she's Taylor Swift. So Taylor Swift is owned by Cher's company.
So we can't be doing this.
Look, she has blonde hair and a short bob.
Now you're gonna get the Swifties on our ass. You're gonna get the Swifties on our ass. Listen, Reika's hair is like she has one of those like bathroom hair blow dryer or like hand dryers like aimed upwards behind her, just like at all times. Her hair just kind of like floats outward.
She has like the most 2001 anime hair.
No. You know who she looks like?
Yes.
This may be a deep cut depending on what year you were watching television. She looks like Clover from Totally Spies.
Oh, that's a good call.
She's got the same fucking hair. She's blonde, wears red mostly. I'm right.
You're right. Sold.
Did you ever watch that show, Sarah?
I did watch a lot of Totally Spies. I always wanted cool spy gadgets like they had.
Which one was your favorite?
Ooh. I don't know. I can't remember what little Sarah liked from Totally Spies. I just liked the gadgets.
I liked Alex. She was the yellow one. I thought that she was neat, and I liked her freckles.
She's spunky.
Yay. I don't know. I also liked Sam. I like the ginger smart ones. This is why Blossom was my favorite Powerpuff Girl. Anyway, Chance Pop Session.
Which are also three girls. So
yeah.
Connections.
Honestly, and like in the early 2000s, yeah, you know what? It's relevant.
There we go.
It's relevant. Welcome to our iDOL podcast that is also an early 2000s cartoon podcast. Listen, guys, there's so little to talk about in this show. We're going to go on some tangents. We're going to have fun here, and you're going to come with us.
So the extra two that we talked about, Reika, and I guess Cher. That's what we'll just tell her.
Now.
She's Cher now.
Yeah. So I'll give you a summary of the first episode in one sentence. The girls go to a concert.
Yep.
That's the plot of the whole
That's
first
what they
episode.
Do.
Also, Yuki, short, spunky brown hair. She gets hit by a car.
Yes, she does.
By the fucking butler. The butler hits her with a car and then yells at her.
To be fair, there's just a lot of physical comedy when there is comedy. A lot of people getting whacked, running into things. 2001 anime.
I was literally, like, this first episode, I was yelling at my screen. It's like, bro, you hit her with your car. Apologize at the very least.
So the main important things that happen at this point, though, in general, is all the girls have their little brush bys with each other to the point where later on when they meet each other, they will recognize each other.
Yes. And it will seem like divine intervention because perhaps it is. Dun, dun, dun.
The concert is a Reika concert, and you do get to hear her cool, smooth pop singer tunes.
This will not be the last time you hear it.
Nope. The interesting thing about the music in this show is there are a decent amount of songs on the tracks if you look to it, but like only 3 of them are important. And
one of them is the fucking OP.
And one's the OP, the other is the ending. And then
there's Reika's song.
Yep.
Like, they have other songs, but they just keep playing the same fucking songs. Like, you listen to the song as the opening, and then you are almost guaranteed to hear that same song later on in the episode for a random music video montage.
Yep. And there's a lot of random music video montages. There's
at least 1 per episode on average.
Yes.
I started just I ignored it at first, but then like about halfway through the show, I was just like, no, they're doing these random musical montages with recycled animation like a lot. And I just started jotting it down like every time it happens. And I'm just
can we talk about the recycled animation? Because
yes,
they like every concert is the same little movement. Almost every single time you see anybody singing, it's the same little back and forth bob repeated like the entire scene. Unless it's a still frame.
I wonder if this was originally intended to be a movie and they just took some of the animation and they stretched it out.
Maybe.
Because like the animation that's like not in the concert sequences is real stiff a lot of the time.
So I guess we're on episode 1. Let me play my hand. So I finished it. And here, we're end of episode 1. This is the time for Sarah to talk about how she feels about the show.
No, go. We've done this before. We'll go into it.
Yeah. It's like I liked it, but then I was sitting there and I'm like, it was enjoyable. It was kind of slow. I wish it was like we mentioned before, like a movie. And then I was like, why was this animated? Like I couldn't be like, there was nothing about it that felt like it should be animated rather than like a drama. Right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, because the animation's not great, and animation's expensive. Back then, it was hand-drawn, so it was not cheap. It would definitely be more expensive to animate a full series than to do a short drama. So apparently the big pull for this is the voice actresses. So Chance Pop Session, apparently it started out as a concept that started as like a radio drama, like drama CDs. And then the drama CDs hit it off because the voice actresses were popular. And so they animated it because they wanted to keep the same voice actresses without, you know, making these adults be teenagers. So that's where that came from. I think notably some of them are interesting. I think it was either Reika's voice actress or the manager's voice actress who was like a Takarazuka person.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to bet it was probably Cher. I feel like she's got the voice for it. We never really hear her singing, but just like the way she talks.
Yeah.
But no, that's interesting.
Yes. So that's why it's animated, but at the same time I'm like, man, for all the effort it takes to make a full series, you know, it's okay. Yeah.
Because like when Sarah and I were first talking about this over the DMs, we didn't talk about the show much because, you know, we like to save it for the podcast. But I finished the show first and I told Sarah, this is going to be a short episode.
Yeah. Because like it really is. A lot just gets kind of drawn out. So episode 1, they all meet each other.
Episode 2,
music school.
Yep. Episode 3, still at the music school. I have like I have 3 notes for episode 3, and one of them is holy shit, the show moves slowly.
Yeah. So, but to get more into it, there is a music school. It's owned by Cher. At this point, it's really weird too because the summary talks about like how they're all inspired by Reika, and Reika's the one who's pushing them. But like Reika doesn't really show up for a whole lot of this middle part.
We see more of Reika's sad backstory than we actually see her being a pop star, and we see her sad backstory in episode 2. Yeah. And I just remember thinking, why are we showing this now?
Yeah, it's very strange.
This feels like something we should see in like episode 8, not episode 2. Mm-hmm. It's really weird.
So Reika's sad backstory is she had really bad parents, child abuse, essentially. And Cher basically took her out of that situation and said, I'm going to essentially adopt you by making you my protege. Because Cher's backstory, which you find out later, is that...
Are we going fully out of order on this?
Let's just tell the story as it is. Let's just tell the story as it is.
Well, if that's the case, then we need to go all the way back.
Okay.
Okay, so here, we're going super out of order. Just know that these hints are like dropped throughout the show, but by like halfway through the show, you know can figure this shit out.
So
like,
clear.
you're not going to get all the details until the episode 10-ish flashback that explains all of the backstory. But like 90% of it, you could have guessed.
Yes, you can.
So basically what happened is that Cher was this young, peppy idol. And she was so happy being an idol. She like won a lot of awards. She was like a very famous musician. And then she met this random guy, got pregnant, stopped being an idol, had 3 kids. I wonder who those 3 kids are.
Mystery. We'll never know.
Boyfriend, I don't think they ever got married, but boyfriend who she had the 3 kids with gets sick and he dies. And she is real fucked up about it. So much so.
She throws herself into the sea.
She throws herself and her 3 kids into the sea.
Yes.
She survives. She wakes up, gets pulled, because like they were on a ship, and you don't actually see it, but you see the empty like side of the ship, and you hear the splash, and it's just like, oh God, okay, Cher, goddamn. And so then the next thing you see is Cher waking up in the hospital, and she said, "Where are the kids?" And they were like, "We never found them." And so now she's real fucked up with survivor's guilt, and also that the guy that she loves is dead, and now she assumes all of her children are dead. And so she's just kind of like just dead girl walking for a couple years. And then she gets this letter from little bitty Reka, little bitty future Taylor Swift pop star, basically saying, "Hey, I listened to your music in the orphanage.
And I do believe in life after love." Go on, Star.
No, I think the podcast is over now. I don't think we can come up with anything better than that. I think that's just the end of the episode. This has been Idol Days. We've been lady.
Look, it's thematically appropriate.
No, it is though. That's why it's so good. How long have you been sitting on that?
I've been waiting for the right time to drop it while you were telling me.
That's why you were letting me talk so much. I see.
Waiting for the right opportunity to drop my Cher reference.
You got any more?
Only when the time is right.
Okay. I just... Holy shit. I'm crying.
Keep going, Star.
Anyway, so yeah, she gets this letter from little Reka, and it basically is like, "Oh, this small child appreciates me. Even though I led to the death of my existing 3 children, maybe this is the sign that I will have a second chance." And she goes and she adopts Reka, like Sarah said, makes her the protege. Reka becomes this huge star. And now that she's this huge star, Cher wants to start a music school. But I think she's already started the music school. They go over this in the first episode. It was confusing. But she's like, "I want to take this music school and I want to start a special like elite S class of like only students that I approve of, and then they will have like an official debut." And like so many sections of like these first few episodes are like investor meetings about the S class, and I'm like, why is this happening? And so that's the thing. And so, long story short, like 7 or 8 episodes, long story short, the 3 girls we talked about end up joining that music school. They get chosen for the S class, and then they make their idol debut. One
interesting thing with that, though, is Yuki specifically does not join immediately.
Oh, yeah. That was an interesting part.
Yes, she becomes an indie musician on the street, while the other 2 go to music school with a 3rd girl who is part of the Shiho Nigogo text chain, as we know.
Her personality is bitch.
Her personality is a bitch.
It's so funny though. Okay, the priorities that this show has sometimes are so strange. We spend so much time like showing this one girl who looks like the main character. She looks like if the main character from Uzumaki was a bitch.
Yes. Because she's also in it so much. Like, she has so much screen time, this girl does.
So much screen time. Like, and then as soon as, okay, so this girl, her name is June, I believe, like Jun. And she's just there to basically just be a bitch. She's the third girl who gets into the S class, and she's just basically there to be like, what? The music teacher wants us to debut as a trio? That's bullshit. I'll show her that I can be a good singer on my own, and then she won't make me debut with these charlatans. It's just like, girl, what? And then we just like spend so much time just like watching her practice by herself and make snooty little remarks. And then I forget exactly what happens. Oh, there's like an audition. Mm-hmm. They go to an audition, and June goes like solo, and then the other three girls are to like, you know, they're together as a unit. And June has spent the entire episode talking shit. She's like, I'm gonna win because I'm gonna be the best. And she loses, and she runs off screen crying, and we never see or hear from her again.
No, she just disappears.
She is just fucking gone. Like, the director, Cher, makes a comment in the next episode about how she, I guess, got, like, signed on to another company. And I assumed that meant that she was going to come back later and be a consistent rival. No. We just literally never see her again after this. She got fucking sucked into the spiral. It's fine.
Yep, she's gone. And it's so strange, too, because, like, it really teased her up to be, like, this mega villain.
They did, and then
nothing happens.
They just bye. Yes, she got absorbed into the spiral. Is what happened to her.
It happens to the best of us.
If you're not familiar with Junji Ito's masterwork, Uzumaki, the whole premise is about like the concept of a spiral is the scariest fucking thing in the universe. And this girl has hair that like curls upwards, kind of like that one Final Fantasy character, Yuffie. But like way more.
Yeah.
And there is a chapter in Uzumaki where like character's hair goes crazy and gets all these spirals in it. And so that's where that joke came from. It's a very educated joke, and you guys should read Uzumaki if you can handle just like some of the wackest shit you've ever seen in your lives. I love Junji Ito though, so.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
It's almost spooky season. I mean, it's spooky season. It's almost spooky month though.
It's like 75 degrees outside. It's officially spooky season in Texas country. Let's fucking go.
Let's go.
I just went and like sat in my yard for a few minutes earlier today because I'm just like, oh, the weather's so nice. I can exist outside. It's wonderful. Anyway, Chance Pop session. But Yuki, while June's being a bitch, Yuki is on the side streets singing her songs with like just like people from like the like market district, and the song's pretty cool. But it's one song, but it's like pretty good. This is one of the songs that you will hear like 4 or 5 times with recycled animation playing behind it.
And she gets scouted to replace Bitch Girl.
Yes. And so the 3 girls, they slowly become closer, and it's a whole thing. I think that when Yuki joins is when the girls make the first connection. They're like, oh shit, I think we might be biological siblings. Because like, I think we kind of covered on it. All 3 of these girls are orphans who were adopted in some way. We don't know this about Nozomi until way later. But Akari has this necklace. It's like a blue heart crystal thing. And then Yuki has like an earring that's the same stone. And Akari notices it, and she's like, where did you get that? I have one just like it. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's probably totally a coincidence, right? And then they go talk to the priest dad, who also sucks, by the way.
Yeah, because he doesn't adopt Yuki.
Okay. Because, first of all, did you notice how often we see this man watering his stupid fucking plants?
Yeah,
we see a scene of the fucking priest watering his stupid fucking garden for like several seconds, every episode. And it's not even like they're recycling the footage. It's from a different angle every time. And I'm just like, I do not care about this man's garden. Show us the girls. I got so annoyed. It was like, I could have made a drinking game out of it, right? It was just like, he's watering his fucking plants. Take a shot. It's
Star hates healthy plants. You heard it here first, folks. Never water your plants or Star will murder you.
I hate Priest Dad because he sucks, and therefore I hate his stupid fucking garden. Because he says in the first episode, because like Akari's like, I wanna go to this concert. And the Priest Dad's like, okay, but don't you dare develop a fascination with music after this. And then Akari comes home and she's like, I want to be a singer. I want to go to this music school that the manager of My Pop Star Rika is started. And can I go? And he says, no, I'm against it. And I don't think he ever explains why.
It's because it's the devil's music.
But like that one I would understand, but I'm pretty sure they never explain why he was against it. And he was kind of a turd like the whole series. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this priest man? He sucks. Anyways. So he's able to confirm that the two of them, because they have these matching stones, actually, they're totally, definitely biological siblings. Because apparently he used to live in Hokkaido, which is where the boat jumping scene happens, but we won't find this out until like the very end of the show. And he remembers finding these 3 children washed up on a beach. The youngest one was still like an infant, and the oldest one was like maybe like 4 at the oldest, like 3 or 4 or 5.
Little babies.
And he's like, yes, so Akari is the one that I adopted, and then the other 2 were adopted by other families. And so I remember that you 2 were biological siblings. And they're so chill about it.
Yeah. And in fact, the girls are like, just like, hell yeah, this is the best thing we ever heard. Love this.
You're just like, wow, I have a sister.
Yay.
School.
And meanwhile, poor Nozomi is like, yeah, I have no siblings, sad.
And by this point, you're like, there were fucking 3 kids.
There were 3 of them.
There were 3 of them. Nozomi, it was like, by this point, they were like halfway through the series, and everyone fucking knows that, that Nozomi's the 3rd sibling, but we don't find out that she's adopted until like way later.
Yes, she has no idea that she's adopted at this point.
But spoiler alert,
she's
she
adopted.
Totally is. And it's like written on the wall in big fucking Sharpie. It's like not hard to guess. You're adopted. It is not hard to figure out, honestly.
But the girls as a trio start doing well. They start having their shows, having their own fan base.
We need to talk about the dead boyfriend.
Yeah, I was like, I forgot when this happened.
It was earlier on in the show. We've already passed him.
Well, anyways,
Akari has a boyfriend and he dies.
She had a boyfriend.
Well, she has one, and then she doesn't have one.
He gets hit.
He gets isekai'd
by a car. Yeah, he's in another world. He got reincarnated into the fantasy world of his dreams. Yeah, so it's fine. He'll be okay.
This man is a walking death flag from like episode 1. He's just kind of there, and like whenever the 2 of them are shown together, it's kind of shown that like Akari is a little nervous to show physical affection towards him. Like, you never see them kiss. They never even hold hands. She kind of grabs his shoulders from behind at one point to like just be like, yay, I'm so happy for you. And then you see her like pull away and be embarrassed. So it's like, I didn't think from that they were dating. But then later, after he dies, one of the other girls calls him her boyfriend. And I'm like, were they?
They say boyfriend in the first episode.
Do they? Okay. Okay, I didn't remember that, so I might have missed it.
But at the same time, he really doesn't show up very much except as moral support for Akari, being like, yeah, you can do it. That kind of thing. His
personality is supportive boyfriend, and that's basically it. And then he gets hit by a truck.
Saving a little boy.
I don't want to call it funny because like it is a sad thing to happen. Like the dude fucking died, but like you see him getting this balloon for a toddler out of a tree, and then he hands the balloon to the toddler, who then immediately lets it go again. The balloon gets blown into oncoming traffic, and then the dude rushes to push him out of the road. And here's the thing, right? This toddler, kid's like 2 at the oldest. he could have just grabbed the kid and kept running.
Look, it's okay, because Kaito woke up in a fantasy world. And he is now super powered, level 8,000.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be okay. And see, the important thing about boyfriend dying is it does give Akari that extra push to sing.
They fridged this man. They fridged this man. They fridged a man for the iDOL anime. They fridged a man.
Look, he's not the only boyfriend to die. Because Sunny also
they
dies.
Fridged two men. Two men. Oh my god, wait, okay, Sarah, so you know how in like shows like Love Live, the audience is so fucking weird about boys like speaking to their idorus that they just don't have boys in the show? What if just this is what happens before that? This is why there's like, we can't have boys in Love Live because then we'll have to kill them.
You'll get murdered.
It's like the early 2000s set this precedent that if you have a boy in an iDOL anime, you gotta kill him. Unless
you are someone's parent, you are dead. You're murdered.
Are dead. You die for other characters' motivation. You get in that fridge. You get in that fridge. Get in that refrigerator and get isekai and think about what you've done.
But the Kaido thing does end up being like a big like crutch point for Akari's arc of like wanting to sing to bring something in the world. I don't know.
Yeah, it was just like, are you watching me, Kaito, from whatever world you got isekai'd into? Oh, golly.
Yeah. Maybe he's in the boy idol dimension, and he's okay.
The Geidel dimension.
The Geidel dimension.
Yeah.
He's in Udapri now.
Oh, no. Godspeed, Kaito.
Good luck. There's some crazy motherfuckers there.
Yep.
So essentially girls get popular enough that they get invited to this concert competition on Christmas. Where they will compete against the best stars in Japan, including Reika.
Dun, dun, dun. But yeah, it's like the Music Police Awards or something, which is like, that's a weird name for a music award. Why is the police name in there? Okay.
But the police name is there because in his effort to get his adopted daughter to win, I guess.
Oh, no, okay, so... Why is this never addressed past this episode? Why is this plot point relevant in one episode and then they got rid of it?
Yeah.
So, okay.
There's a crime.
We need to talk about Nozomi's parents. Her dad specifically. Yes. Okay, so Nozomi's parents are whack-ass, out-of-touch rich people.
Yeah, they are.
And so her dad is originally against her becoming a singer, but then once she actually does become a singer, he's like, holy shit, I must support my daughter with all these millions of yens that I have. These millions and millions of yens that I have to support my daughter. And he's like really obnoxious. He like buys the record label that she works under and then makes them advertise their group like crazy. And then he's like, oh, they're in line for this award? I know what I must do. I must take a more direct approach to supporting my beloved daughter. And he starts bribing the judges.
Yes, like actually starts bribing judges.
Bribing the judges, and a paparazzi takes a picture and tries to threaten the music label with it. And you think that the girls are gonna get kicked out of consideration, but actually no. After this episode, it's never addressed again.
No, because instead, what happens is he's like, his daughter confronts him. And Nozomi is like, Daddy, why would you do this to me? I thought you cared about me and my music. And he's like, well, you see, daughter, I was just desperately doing whatever I could to help you out because I want you to know that your mom and I still love you even though you're adopted. I'm sorry I'm laughing, but everyone, like at this point, you knew like 5 episodes ago.
Yeah, no, you like we all knew, except Nozomi apparently.
Yeah.
And so her parents are like, we didn't tell you because we didn't want you to leave after you found out that we weren't your real parents. And she's like, why did you think I would leave?
And also, why did you think that bribing the judges would help with that?
Yeah, but it's just, They should not have been allowed to participate in that contest after the dad bribed them. But like literally at the end of the episode, they're like, so what are we going to do about your dad bribing the judges? And then one of them is like, oh, I think it'll work out. And truth enough, it never gets addressed again.
So they are able to go into this music competition at the end of the year.
And then so they perform, and Reika also performs using the same fucking songs that they have been using the entire season. Spoiler alert, Reika wins, and then the crown that she wins has these little gems in it, and then the girls recognize the little gems in the crown, and they're like, what are those gems from? And Reika's like, you should ask the person who used to have one of these crowns where the gems my manager's your mom. My manager's your mom. Go talk to her. My manager's your mom. Because like at this point, Reika also knew because the lyricist that manager mom Cher works with figured out that the kids were also the Cher's kids. Like at this point, Cher's the only one who does not know.
Yes. And so she had at the very end. This is the very, very end of the show. She's at the grave of, I assume, her kids?
Yeah. No, it's the husband's grave.
Oh, yes. It's at her husband. She's singing If I Could Turn Back Time. I couldn't figure out a way to put that back in. And then who comes and joins her in singing If I Could Turn Back Time are the children. They start singing the song, which is also the ending, by the way.
I wanna tell you love forever. I just wanna feel your heart every day, everywhere, A and B.
And
they hold out the 3 gems that they have. By the way, the reason that they have these is because they were gems from the award crown that Cher won before she quit being an idol, and she took some of the little like gems off and she made them each into jewelry. So one of them has a ring, one of them has earrings, and then one of them has a little necklace. And she put the jewelry in like the baby's pockets before throwing herself and them into the sea.
yeah.
And so when Cher sees this jewelry that the girls have, and she's like, oh my God, my children are alive, and I made them out of ruse. And like everybody cries. And I will admit, I did cry a little at this very last scene.
Here's the thing. It's like the show is like what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. And the
Very
pacing,
predictable.
pretty bad. But like also, it's a really sweet story.
It is. Like my biggest complaint with this show is that there was just too much of it.
Yeah.
Like, I wish this was like 4 episodes instead.
Or like if it was like a 2-hour movie, I think it'd be like so they can make it so concise and sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I didn't hate it. There wasn't anything like explicitly bad in it, despite, how we were kind of riffing on the thing the whole time. That's what we do here.
Yeah. We were
but it's
first.
like, I don't think I would watch it again, but like I didn't hate watching it. I just kind of wish I could have watched it 1.5 speed.
I would watch it again if it was like a remake of a movie.
Yeah, because like the story is sweet.
And the music is like, again, even though it's the same songs over and over, it's that like really good early 2000s J-pop.
Yeah, it's like, is this considered city pop? It's the musicality seems pretty similar.
Yeah.
To what I have heard of that genre.
And it's fun, right? Like it and like again, like what's gonna happen by like episode 3. But they still hit the beats well. Like just because you know what's gonna happen doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah, and like that flashback. So which episode is it? It's episode 11 is the flashback where we get all of the tragic backstory of like the manager being the mom and she like quits being an idol, and then ending with her attempted suicide off the edge of a boat. That hurt like really bad. Like that was fucking sad, and like I really felt those emotions. And just like there's a lot of good visuals in that episode where you just like see her sitting by the window and you just watch the seasons go by. It's like, oh girl. And it was just like, it like genuinely affected me. Like, it's a good show. I just wish it was like 4 episodes or less.
But there's also long scenes of the priest watering his plants, and Star hates plants.
I hate that fucking priest in his bitch ass garden. I don't need to see him watering his plants every episode. Show.
I just loved, like, every time though the manager showed up, I'm like, that's Cher.
Sarah, real quick. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh at Kaito's death again, but in the episode where he dies, we see a scene of the priest's watering can laying on its side in the rain by the garden.
I like how you really tracked down this watering can.
I noticed, they showed it so many times that I noticed it. And I'm just like, oh my fucking God, this bastard man was watering his stupid bitch ass garden when he got the call that Kaito was dead. And now it's like, because they can't show us watering his garden in this episode, they're gonna show his watering can laying on its side on the pavement outside in the wet and the sad and the
Does
rain.
he water his plants after?
No, I don't think so.
Was Kaito a metaphor for plants?
For the plants? wait, Sarah. Was he an industry plant? No.
Oh, no, he wasn't. He's dead now.
He's dead now. And he wasn't a musician anyway. A guy wanted to be like a teacher or something. That's his isekai plot line.
It's okay. He dies and he wakes up in the world of Udapri as a teacher.
Yeah, stranded in another world with my teaching license.
I'm sure that exists.
Listen.
Sorry, you don't understand. I've been reading so many isekai manhwas. That's my thing recently.
Why?
So many.
Is this your new thing that you're into?
God, yes, so many. You don't
Sarah.
understand.
Okay, well, we said this episode was probably going to be about an hour. We're at about 50 minutes. Tell me about your isekais that you've been reading.
So the most recent one I have been reading is As You Wish, Prince, which is the writer for a fantasy novel, ends up getting kidnapped by the villain of her world that she wrote and getting taken into the world that she wrote. How exciting.
Oh. Is there a lot of jokes about how it's like, I wish I had written this world building differently and I wouldn't be in the stocks right now?
Well,
or something like that.
The mystery is that there's things happening that she didn't write. And she's like, what's going on? And you as the reader are like, what's going on?
Death of the author.
There's my complete tangent about Sarah's isekai manhwa.
Listen, there's not a lot for us to talk about on the show, okay? We covered all of it already.
We really did.
We covered all of it.
And we're not even an hour in.
That's all it's in. You think we're exaggerating, but no, they spend like so much time of just like characters walking and looking up at things and dramatic panning shots of the background that we've already seen from this exact angle like 4 or 5 times. And then we see slow zooms in on that weird painting that is in Cher's office. We look at that painting so much. We look at that painting and we look at that stupid priest's garden and we look at Nozomi's house and
we watch
look
them
at
practice using the same animation over and over.
Yep, and we watch them practice the same fucking song like every single episode, and we listen to the same song like every single episode. Song's a bop, but I got a little tired of it by the end because it was in every single episode. You know, you're watching like 3 or 4 episodes in a sitting, and you're just like, oh my God, play a different song.
And the thing is, they really do have different songs. Sometimes they play different songs during these montages. So there
was a random duet with Akari and Kaito.
Was it after he died?
No, it's like right before he dies.
Okay. There's a death flag.
空の青さ白く溶けた真昼の月のように
It's like they have like this romantic song where they're singing together and they're like showing photos. I get, honestly, whenever a montage happened, I just kind of looked at my phone. He's like, what's going on Blue Sky right now?
Yeah, the montages
Nothing.
are not animated, by the way. They're just still frames. Sometimes they're still frames that you've already seen.
Which is where the recycled animation bits come in. But yeah, and it's like June, the random evil character, she has a song. There's one episode where we see the girls practicing their song, And then, no, I think it's like we get a Reika song. It's the same fucking song that she's always singing. And then we see June like practicing alone on the roof. And there's like 30 seconds and then another montage with June singing her song. And then we never hear that song ever again because in, I think, the next episode, June loses the competition and runs off screen crying and she has lost her plot relevancy.
Which I think is really I think this really does go back to the source of the show itself, where it was kind of a showcase for a lot of these actors and actresses. So I wonder if for some of this, like they gave, for example, June a bigger part and a song just because the voice actress was popular.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I so expected her to be a recurring villain and she just wasn't.
She went off to go text Nico, I guess.
Nico was a baby. Nico was like 2 years old.
That's true. She's a proto Nico. She's before
Sarah,
Nico.
This was before they even had cell phones. They see these girls using like landline and pay phones the entire show, and I'm just like, wow, we used to live like this.
Yeah. and that
My
is
goodness.
part of the fun too, right? Is watching a show from 2001, seeing like the fashion and the cars and the technology whenever it does show up. And the really bad 3D animation.
Oh, the really bad 3D animation was so funny. Funny.
But that's part of the fun, too. That being said, I feel like if you were to watch the show, you can watch it, and then when a montage happens, kind of just skip forward.
Yeah, go get yourself a snack or something.
I think someone needs to make, like, a movie edit version of it, you know?
Yes.
Someone cut out all these watering can parts.
Get rid of the fucking watering can, I swear to God.
And then also, like, I don't know, there's just some parts where you're like, just don't think about it too hard because then, like, the illusion breaks, you know? Like the priest never adopts the other girls. Because Yuki's implied to not have parents. Like, she's just alone.
Like, she said she was adopted and then she ran away.
Yeah.
And she just never went home. And it's like, girl.
Yeah.
What?
And then there's also, like, the whole part with Reika. They kind of tee it up like there's going to be a lot of drama with Reika as the adopted daughter.
Versus, like, the biological kids, yeah.
But there's not really anything explored there.
No, it's just, you're kind of shown it, and then they take it away.
Yeah.
And you're kind of, like, shown the same thing again. And then they don't do anything. It's like presenting you with a box of Legos and then taking the Legos away before you get to play with them. It's like, can we build these Legos into something? No. And that's kind of like what the entire show does, honestly. It's like they show you a box of Legos. Maybe if you're lucky, they will take the Legos out of the box and place them like in the little clear bags on the table in front of you. And then you look up at the anime and you're like, oh, cool. Are we going to build something with this? And then like someone just like grabs the Legos off the table and says, no. And then like the next episode, they put the Legos back on the table and they're like, you can look at this. And you're like, are we going to build anything with the Lego? No.
And that's another place where it's like, this could have been a movie or something shorter because they could have cut out all of those hooks that never happened.
Yep. You could have given the Legos to these little orphans.
But it was still sweet. I know that it sounds like we're complaining, but it was still like a sweet show. It was just slow.
It was just weirdly paced and very slow, and it should have been a movie.
Yep, but Cher's in it.
Cher is in it.
I don't know how to make this episode longer, Star.
Me neither. I think we gotta just call it here.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up, everyone. Here, let's talk about what we're gonna do for our next episode because we're going freaky with it.
We're gonna get a little funky fresh with the next episode. Something we haven't done before, but was asked a lot.
Kind of funky, kind of fresh. We're doing it. We're trying something new. Because so I have watched this show I have watched enough of this show to cover one episode of a podcast. So normally what we do in the podcast is we watch a show, and usually like each season is, like 12 or 13 episodes. And that's like a season of a show. And that is enough for us to cover in one episode of our podcast. It's nice and easy peasy, squared away and done. However, there's a lot of these other iDOL anime that are pretty popular that just kind of go forever.
Long shows.
They have like hundreds of episodes, not like One Piece level, but I think like Aikatsu's like over 200 episodes at this point, probably. But like we have had requests from people to, cover those shows. but we just didn't really know how to make it work with what we've got going on this podcast. However, I did at one point a couple years ago sit down and watch like the first 12, 13 episodes of Prepara. And from what I remember, it's not entirely self-contained, but there's like enough plot there that I think we could probably watch like 12 or 13 episodes and kind of just use that as a taster.
So what we're going to be doing for our next episode, which is in October. This is not our Cursed Idol October episode. We're not calling Prepara cursed. We're just gonna have a fun and funky fresh time, aiming towards the first story arc of Prepara. That is what we're
because like it's been like 10 years since I watched it, but I remember that there's like a whole arc with one of the characters that kind of wraps up around episode 12, and then they kind of start branching into other things. But there's no like clear cut boom ending. It's just kind of like stuff kind of gets, the hints are dropped and then they pull you in because, you know, it's kind of like an on-running series. So it's gonna be a little experiment.
Hell yeah.
It might not work out very well, but it might also work well. Just, you know, like a little taster. And then if we end up really liking Prepara, we might come back to it in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, and also similarly, because shows, for example, Aikatsu, Star and I haven't watched any of, like, there's a number that we haven't watched any of. So if you have, like, watched these episodes that are preferably less than, like, 15 episodes total, that are like a combined story arc, then maybe we can take those up too if this works out.
Yeah, I like Aikatsu specifically. I remember is very much just kind of like, I don't want to say monster of the week, but it has that kind of pacing where it's just like every episode's kind of a different little thing, and there's no real overarching plot largely. Like there is a little bit. Prepara has more of an overarching plot, and so that's why I kind of pitched that as our first attempt at a longer series of like, I think we could just sit and watch this one and have fun with it.
Yeah, so have fun with us.
Yeah, come with us on this little adventure. Prepara is also a lot of fun from what I remember.
Heck yeah.
The character designs are really fun, the outfits are really fun, and also the 3D animation's pretty good. Ooh. Like they use 3D for all the dance numbers, but the animation's actually pretty fun.
Let's go.
Also, I'm not like super duper deep into the fandom or anything. I'm very much a casual fan, but like the main 6, but one of them dropped. So right now it's just the main 5, but it used to be 6. The main 6 characters, their voice actresses were in like an actual idol group, and they have some bangers.
Oh, hell yeah.
I will send you some clips if you want.
Let's go.
Let's go. But yeah, so Prepara is going to be our next episode. That will come out at the beginning of October. But yeah, so catch you then.
And if you want to participate in our watch-alongs, come to our Discord. So we had some people in our Discord who did watch Chance Pop section along with us. I don't think there are any questions that was raised for discussion, but there was somebody, Lunavox, who ended up loving Chance Pop session, which was great. It's really fun to see different perspectives of what people enjoyed or did not enjoy. Yeah, so we'd love to hear your thoughts, especially with shows, again, that are longer, that we might not have a chance to go through every single story arc, what your thoughts are.
Yeah, like, especially because I would love to start covering some longer shows, but like getting some input from people who like are passionate about the media, who could kind of like help us identify like which sections to watch. That would be helpful in getting us to, you know, review it on the show and that kind of thing.
Let's go. Send us your reviews of Chance Pop Sessions 3D animation compared to what else you experienced in 2001.
Go in the comment section if you're watching this on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Idle Days Pod, and tell us what you were doing in 2001. And if you say that you weren't born yet, you will age us by 5 years. Tell
us if you enjoy which of Cher's looks do you enjoy the most? Do you associate her with Mamma Mia, Sonny and Cher?
Here we go again. All right. Well, just to wrap this up, you can find us around the internet. We are at Idle Days Pod on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter. And we have a Discord server, and the links for all of those are going to be in the description, no matter where you're listening to this podcast. Make sure to subscribe or follow us on whatever medium channel that you're listening to. But mostly, if you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel because we're trying very hard to get that up to 1,000 subscribers so that we can start earning a little bit of ad rev to pay for Sarah's Crunchyroll subscription.
Woohoo!
Pew, 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 pew.
And you can find links to our Discord and all of our social media on our website, which is idoldays.card.co or idolluminati.net.
Yes, I need to update it, but it still exists.
It still exists. Woohoo!
Woohoo! But yes, so this has been Idol Days.
We've been Lady. See you next live. Bye.